Good morning. I want to talk about something that isn't really said much on YouTube or the internet about narcissistic people, narcissistic personality disordered people. They give you a lot of red flags and signs, which aren't entirely false. As someone who's kind of lived this life for most of her life, um, a lot of the red flags are there, but that's at first meet. That's like when you are dating, when you are having kind of like that romantic go around. A lot of narcissism is based on romance. But I want to broaden the spectrum a little bit because narcissism isn't just the person that you want to have a family with, get married to. Narcissism is everywhere. No one's immune to it. Your family, your friends, your coworkers. And so it might be a little bit more difficult to detect narcissism that isn't romantic, so to speak. But here is one thing I can tell you with a straight face. There's one thing that all narcissists have in common, especially when you get to know them intimately. All narcissists are either dirty and or hoarders of something. Now, you're like, wait, what? I wasn't expecting that. I know, because it's not really talked about. We have these shows like Hoarders, and we have Kondo telling us how to be organized. But you have to understand, in the broad spectrum of things, why do we have these television shows? And why do we have people teaching us how to be organized with our mountains and mountains of stuff? Well, because a lot of Americans are narcissistic. But I want to tell you how to really gauge if someone is narcissistic by their stuff. And then if you want, you can get revenge with it. So be it a potential love interest, be it your family members, be it your friends, narcissists all hoard things, physical things. They all do. Now, they're not all dirty, so to speak, like, hygiene and, cleanliness in the home. Not all of them, are dirty in that aspect, but they all hoard one thing. And you may ask, why? Well, they hoard things in case they can't get physical attention, aka supply. Remember, narcissistic people are not really long-term popular people. Like, they're great. If you want to use an interview analogy, they're great when they interview, but they're terrible when you hire them, right? They're not good people when you get to know them longer than a couple of meetings. And they know this. So it's hard for them to get supply. It's hard for them to get people on their side, especially if they're aging, right? So when they can't get a person to give them attention, what do they fall back on? Things, right? Now, these things can range. I can go on forever, but I'm going to give you a few examples of the narcissistic people in my life, or ex-narcissistic people in my life, because I got rid of them, of what they were into. One parent was into clothing, crystal figurines, shoes, and porcelain art. So much so that they had an entire room, plus their closet, plus the entire house of their stuff. This person's husband only had one closet, maybe two. And this is out of 6 closets in the home. Another person like to collect brass figurines. Now, you know how heavy brass is. You know how heavy that is. Imagine having an entire living room of nothing but various sizes of brass figurines. We're talking about over a ton of brass in one room. Another narcissist I knew was into shoes. Now, this person lived in maybe an 800 square foot condo. But this person had at least 40 to 50 pairs of shoes. Now, think that through. How many pairs of shoes do you actually need? I would say maybe the most 5, 6, But this person who lived in such a small space, and who was actually very clean, by the way, had this addiction for shoes, right? Male, by the way, which was even weirder. Another person was into skateboards, bought herds of skateboards, but never skated at all. Just bought them. Another person I knew who was not a hoarder at all, but who was an avid cannabis smoker. You couldn't get this person to stop smoking, period. They will do anything under the sun for you. But when it came to cannabis, especially if it was for their health, especially if they were on medications, they wouldn't stop. Another person I knew, they had a house that was nearly condemned. And I had to clean this person's house twice because the state was going to take them away. Collectors generally want to share their collection. Collectors generally want to grow this thing that they're into, and they want to be a part of a community. They want to be a part of a bigger group who has the same kind of passion that they do. Collectors are not hoarders. Collectors actually are people looking for like-minded individuals to share in their fandom, so to speak. But hoarders, narcissistic people who are hoarders, are ones where they don't want to share with you. They don't want to have you look at their things, or if they're going to show it off, it's to show off, like, look what I have and you don't. I'm not showing you this to have camaraderie with you with these things. I'm showing you these things to show off. Narcissistic people by nature are extraordinarily competitive. And if they can't get a person to give them attention, they collect things so they can garner attention from other people. It's stupid, but I know some people who have medals forever, like medals. And for me, like, that's cool if you have medals, but you understand that just because you won something or won multiple things for multiple years does not mean that it's relevant now, right? You can't take your medals and actually do something functional with it unless you are going to be a teacher, or you are going to do something for the Olympics. But even then, whatever kind of awards that you collect and you hoard, they're actually kind of worthless unless you do something with them that's going to impact someone on a larger scale, right? A prime example is that when you see Beyonce's video with all of her awards and everything like that, and she smashes them, that's different. Why? Because you're seeing Beyonce's progress to what she is today, which she does make media that impacts a large group of people. But typically, narcissistic people don't do it for that level. Narcissistic people do it because they want to show you how awesome they are. You would never see a narcissist shatter their own awards. You would never see that because that's supply bait, right? So here's what I have for you as far as the vengeance angle of this, is that if you are with a narcissist and you really want to stick it to them, you really want to stick it to them. Because they're going to smear you anyway. They're going to talk bad about you. They're going to gossip about you if you leave. They're going to try and ruin you anyway. So be preemptive. Do first strike. You can be vindictive, extraordinarily so, and get rid of their stuff. Destroy all of their stuff. All of it. Now, you can donate it. You can take it to the local dump. You can put it in a fire pit and burn it. But whatever they find so important, toss it all. Get rid of it. Because you don't want them to get that supply fuel. You don't want to give them bait, right? Toss it. Second, if you don't want to destroy it, and you know this person is going to gossip about you and smear you and do whatever anyway, talk about their stuff first. And don't be so intentional about it. Let it kind of drop in conversations. If you have a narcissist who was an asshole, but was male and liked dressing in lingerie and collected women's clothing, just kind of let that come up. Don't go into it, just hint. If they're dirty, let people know. Let people know how disgusting they are. Let people know how they have rotten food in the fridge. Let people know how, they live around animal feces and gross hair and unwashed laundry. Make it casual, but let them know. And this is a good one for the ladies. Here's another thing about narcissistic men specifically, especially if they're heterosexual. A lot of narcissistic men have a lot of children, right? They basically collect baby mamas. Now you're thinking, whoa. No. They use their collection of various women to show their sexual prowess. They don't care if they have to pay child support a majority of the time, if they even do. But they care about having a physical representation of their sexual prowess and their genetics that will live on. So nothing is more embarrassing than basically blasting out a man who has multiple children and then being the woman who got away. Sierra is a prime example of that. Because I don't really follow the culture, but her former rap artist paramour, and when she left him for someone better, that was a blow to his ego, right? Because she showed him that his sexual prowess wasn't enough, that his sex game was still weak enough that she could find better. And she did. So if you are a baby mama amongst many baby mamas, get married to somebody who's better, richer, more handsome, and then watch your narcissist spin in the wind. The point is to plant seeds in the imagination so that the narcissist, when they start smearing you, you've already put something questionable in people's heads anyway. So then when they start gossiping, and then it's like, wait a minute, didn't so-and-so say that you like dressing in women's clothing? And they may deny it, but the whole point is that they're going to have to continuously deny it. And the more you deny something fervently, the more guilty you look. So when the narcissist starts to smear you and gossip about you, don't say anything. Don't fight it. But when you drop these little nuggets of their disgusting hoarding habits or their egotistical collections, they will defend that completely. I hope that helps. Good luck.